Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, whether you're tuning in on the radio dial here in Mississippi or through one of our online affiliates around the world, including our iHeartRadio family. We're glad to have all of you with us as well. We're excited to welcome back to our program today filmmaker and author Maximus Wright. We're going to talk to Maximus not only about the journey to being able to bring stories to life through film, but also he's been able to now publish not one but two books. We're going to be talking about that in a very special event that's taking place for a Mississippi audience on Saturday, March the 24th, that being Soul Damage, the stage play. You guys will be able to see the story being brought to life. We'll give you all the details about that and how you can stay connected with Maximus as well. Maximus, hello to you, and welcome back to the program, man.
Hey, man, thank you for having me.
Hey, the pleasure is definitely all mine. A lot for us to talk about. Since the last time that you were on with us, you published another book. We discussed Soul Damage the first time. You now have the book, My Name is LOLA, out. We're going to be reminding our audience at the end of the segment how they can get that. What has this experience been like for you, Maximus, to not only to be able to, as I said, to tell stories through film, but now to be able to publish two books as well?
I don't know, Sid. I don't know, Cyrus. It's I almost called you Sirius, the name of the lead character in Soul Damage.
Yeah.
It's been surreal. You know, to be honest with you, it's been surreal. I think the most gratifying thing is the impact that it's having and how people have really identified with a piece of work that originated in my head and now is being shown in multiple, mediums. So surreal is the only thing I could think of.
Right. Well, I think, and I'll be posting my review of the newest book, My Name is LOLA, for Amazon. But one of the things I thought about when I was reading it, Maximus, is that, just like with Soul Damage, you are not afraid to tackle topics that are not always easy to talk about in day-to-day conversations, but there's something about fiction, there's something about movies that makes these things easier because you feel less attached to it. Is that one of the things that you found about people discussing the things you've written about?
I felt terrified writing about it because I never knew how people were going to respond to it. I knew when I was writing it, I said, you're really, pushing the envelope here. You're really, this is true. And I think that's the only thing that gave me security. I knew I was telling the truth. Even though it was through fiction, I knew I was talking about things that were true in our community. So I think, I was terrified, but in one sense, I felt obligated that I need to at least say it. I need to at least be the little kid at the King's Parade and say, hey, he's naked. And I think that's what I tried to do in both books. And I didn't know you had a chance to read My Name is LOLA, so that's pleasant. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, well, we're going to be letting our audience know how they can get it as well, Maximus. But one of the things that you talk about in My Name is Lola, and we'll start there and we'll work our way back. I mean, is the fact that, well, for one, you dedicated it to people who were suffering in silence, with mental illness. But I think the thing is, Chapter 6 of the book, people don't want the truth. I think there are so many times that we kind of go through life, and the truth is sometimes relative for some people, and for some, it's selective. What was it like for you to kind of tackle the topic of truth and mental illness and secrets in a book like this?
I think the challenge was, how was I going to attack it? How was I going to approach this? Was I going to approach this from a very subtle way and I hope that people get it? Or was I going to say, I'm coming right in your face and I'm not going to give you anywhere to run? And I think I chose the latter. Because Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Max.
No. So because a lot of times it is so easy to just, defer and act as if it's not happening or this is not going on. Or for whatever reasons, whether you're ashamed or because you're trying to deny, just to protect yourself like Lola was. But I wanted to come straight in your face so we could be forced to have this conversation. Let's not act like it's not happening. We all know it's happening. So we got a character like Wooly who's going to put it directly in your face and not let you run from it.
Right. Well, no, I was just going to say, it takes courage to be able to do this. You and I discussed courage the last time you were on the program, Maximus, when it came to Soul Damage. Where do you think that courage to tell these type of stories comes from?
I think it's passion. I heard someone say one time that passion is on the corner where love and rage meet. And basically, when you have been affected by these things, you know, whether it's been directly or indirectly, you know, or seeing family members or people you care about go through this, I think, you know, the scripture says love, you know, perfect love casts out all fear. I think when you love something so much, it kind of gives you the strength to move beyond that fear. So I think it's passion. I think it's the love of the people, the love of my people, the love of myself, and love of people that this could possibly impact that kind of gives me, that it fuels me to push past my own individual fears that I have about, you know, recourse or what people may think about me.
You know, I think there is something else that happens, and especially in My Name is Lola, as well as, of course, I think it kind of carries over into Soul Damage, which ended up being the first book, and that is about people not fully understanding. You know, there's that one scene that you write in My Name is Lola, and I'll talk around it for those who haven't read it, but, I mean, basically, the mother character says, you know, about, you know, no girl and no woman being safe from around men. You know, basically even alluding to even being family. You know, that is one of the things we've seen now with a lot of the stories in the news, as you know, Maximus, where you have, you know, fathers and brothers, uncles taking advantage of children. What was it like for you to kind of see how those topics that are so timely, they really are, unfortunately, are even timeless, and that they've been going on for years but not talked about? It was challenging because I wanted to write. I was challenging myself, and I was saying, can I write this from a standpoint of a woman? You know, with me being a man, can I make a female feel that, okay, this is not a man that wrote this, you know, not to be condescending in any type of way, but to try to connect on a level that's human, that doesn't demean or diminish, you know, their experience as a woman. And I think, just like so many of us, regardless of what group we're in, until others take up the banner with us to say something, we kind of lose the power that is needed to affect change. So I felt it was very important for me as a man to talk about this issue that women go through all the time. You know, I grew up in a single parent home, so, you know, I was surrounded by women. So they have my greatest respect. I respect them, and, you know, and in every opportunity that I have, whether it's on a film crew or whatever, I'm always trying to empower women, because I know that most times when the mother is stable, then the family is going to be stable, and that's just from personal experience. So that was very important to try to push that envelope for women dealing with that particular issue, and it's something that we all know about, we don't talk about. So I think it's going to take outside voices to really bring a lot of light to issues that have been going on for a long time. And it's surprisingly how timely it is that, you know, My Name is Lola came out after all this stuff we started hearing about Harvey Weinstein and all these other things. So I don't see this going anywhere soon. I think it's going to be a rough ride for a while, but I think healing will be a result of it. Yeah. And I think even suicide, which is something you and I have discussed with the first book, Soul Damage, when we're discussing inspiration, of course, Lola has to talk about that with Rick in the book, you know, about, you know, what she's experienced and why she's kind of dealing with the things she's dealing with. We're going to talk more about that, as well as the character Cyrus that you mentioned earlier. For those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're back with Maximus Wright. He's a filmmaker and author that's celebrating not one but two books. One is Soul Damage. Also, My Name is Lola. Both of them are available through our friends at Amazon.com. We're going to remind you of that at the end of the segment. He's also gearing up for a very big event on Saturday, March the 24th, for our audience in Mississippi that's taking place in Yazoo City, Mississippi, and that is Soul Damage, the stage play. Okay, so fast forwarding to what's coming up for you now. I mean, you've already, you know, had a book that you weren't initially planning to write. You told me last year, Maximus, and that was with Soul Damage. Then you had the follow-up to the book that you planned on writing. You know, had you thought about doing a stage play before the film came out before?
You know, I have to admit something to you, man. Last time we were on, I was on your show. You kept saying, you know, ladies and gentlemen, this is Maximus Wright, filmmaker and playwright, and I was so irritated by that. I was so irritated that you kept referring to me as a playwright. And I was like, I'm not a playwright. I haven't written a play. Why did you keep saying that? And lo and behold, I'm sitting here now saying I got to apologize for being irritated because this guy he's looking to the future. I had absolutely no plans. Matter of fact, I had told everyone that I would never write a stage play. I was that adamant. But here we are, less than 2 weeks away. I'll be performing our first stage play in Yazoo City on the 24th.
Yeah.
So
how does that feel? How does that feel, Maximus?
Initially, it was very, very stressful. But now, working with the cast here for the last several months, some of the excitement that's being stirred into the city has really been, it's been a really satisfying feeling. I really feel excited, and I really feel, full with a lot of gratitude because I had no idea that, doing something I feel is just a small thing would have, in the greater scheme of life, would be having such a positive effect on a group of people.
Yeah. It's funny hearing you tell that story, seeing that I didn't know. I tell people sometimes when people come to me and they mention something to me, I'm like, well, you know what? There's no need to apologize because I didn't even realize it. Before you even said anything, just like now, I didn't even realize it until you actually said something. So, I should say then, for those who don't know, the initial idea for Soul Damage was just the film. So for those who don't know, Maximus, how did it end up initially becoming a book?
Well, because we started out making the film first, and we're still at the last point of post-production with the film. So we had a layover, because you run out of money, so you have to wait till you can raise money again so you can start production up. So in the interim, the cast came to me and they said, well, why don't you just go ahead and finish the script out because we think it would make a wonderful book. And I was like, no, I'm not interested in that. So I had more time than money, so I started writing. And we finished the book. The book served as a good promotional thing. It served as a good marketing tool. And, we're steadily going and, you run out of money again. And they was like, well, why don't you make it to a stage play? And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And they said, well, look, it'd be great marketing because you could tour the play. So I was approached by some outside investors about possibly taking it to Atlanta first. And I said, no, let me do the old comedians routine. Let me take it to small market. If it works in a small market, then we can keep tooling it until we're ready to bring it to a bigger market. And since I'm from a small town, I said, look, let me go home because home is going to be honest with me. They're going to let me know if it was good, and they're going to let me know if it was bad. And if it's bad, they'll talk about me, but they'll still love me at the end. So I have opportunity to get it right. So that's why we're taking the play home first.
Yeah. And I think to be able to do that, and there, I'm excited about it myself. I will be there, and we're going to be letting our audience know that's in the listening area how they can be a part of this. It has to be an interesting thing for you, to have created these characters, Maximus, and to see them literally being brought to life in front of you. I noticed when you posted the pictures on social media, and we're going to get into that aspect of it, kind of introducing us to the cast. Is that one of the things that's been fun for you, kind of seeing the people who you envision for these roles, being able to say the words that you've written for them? That's been amazing. To once they start getting their quirks, it's one thing to get the words, but once they start to get the quirks of the character, like whether they scratch, when they talk, or they laugh when they lie, once they start getting those quirks, it's like now you're seeing the person that was in my head, and I don't know how to really explain the feeling that it is. Mm-hmm. I think that what is probably most exciting is that going to Yazoo City, some of those characters are going to be in the audience. Some of those inspiration of those characters are going to be in the audience, and just to see them meet, those characters, I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see that. But to answer the question, it's almost indescribable. Yeah. I think there's at the heart of Soul Damage, and even My Name is Lola, for me, Maximus, is the story of family. There's that line in My Name is Lola that I have made a note of because I wanted to make sure I mentioned it in my review, where Lola says to the character Sirius, "You take your love away from me." And I think, there are so many points in this book and in the first book where you kind of wonder sometimes if people realize that they may be doing the same thing that these characters are doing in the book. Is that kind of what you hope kind of happens, that when they're reading Soul Damage, that there's some soul searching that takes place and they kind of think of ways they can be better versions of themselves?
That's the total purpose. The total purpose is not to condemn, but to put a mirror up. To put a mirror and say, that's me. No matter who you are, regardless of what character you are. I think until we can start having conversations that are non-judgmental, that are not, we're not confronting, we're just having an honest dialogue. And I think that's what we miss today. We don't know how to have honest conversations with people without it being, contentious or feeling like that I'm down on you or I'm coming. No, we just need to have a hard conversation just to get to the truth, because it's the truth that makes us free. So that's the whole goal of whatever medium this is in, is to spur dialogue so we can promote some healing and possibly change.
Right. I think that's the other big thing. I think the character Willie in the book, My Name is Lola, is one that people, I think, will probably have mixed feelings about. But one of the things that Willie says in the book that I think is interesting, because I believe it is so true, and it's something that I think we forget about, and I think it kind of shows itself in the way we treat each other. Willie says, everybody has stuff, I'll say, to deal with.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. Do you think sometimes we forget that, Maximus, that while we're so easy to talk about someone else, that we're dealing with our own stuff, our own baggage, and our own demons?
Yeah, I do. I think we're so focused on our external world that we're not paying attention to our internal one, or the pressures of that internal world. We get so used to carrying the load, we don't realize the effect that it's having on us. Mm-hmm. And Willie is my favorite character in My Name is Lola, because he's a contradiction almost. He's you look at him and you listen to what he's saying and how he says it, you immediately think that this is a harsh, heartless man. But when you look at his actions and how he carries himself, he has probably the best moral code in the whole book, the best morality. So, and I was surrounded by characters like that, and they were complex characters to me, and it was hard to understand them because of how they carried themselves or how they expressed themselves. But at the heart of who they were something different. So yeah, you're right. Willie's he's gonna be controversial, but I think we all know a Willie. Yeah. In some form, I think we all know a Willie, and Willie's a person of principle. They may not be your principles, but he's dedicated to his own. And he is kind of like the guy or the conscience that says all the stuff that you want to say but probably can't say.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing is, in Lola, there's some, interesting dialogue that takes place with Lola. And one of the things that Lola says, too, or thinks, I should say, that I made a note of, because I think, again, it's one of those things that people wonder, and I'm curious as to your thoughts on this, Maximus. When Lola's having a conversation with another character we meet in the book, My Name is Lola, Deborah, and Lola is thinking about Bloomy, someone who we get to read about, and the line that you wrote in My Name is Lola is, she wondered if she missed her God opportunity. Is that why you work so hard, to make sure that you don't miss out on the opportunities and the blessings that might be right in front of you?
Well, it's all started, man, about almost 3 going on 4 years ago. My father died. This was not my biological father, but he was my stepfather and had been married to my mother. And he came into my life in my late 20s, and I was really against it. I'd been with my mother, all my life at that point, and we didn't want to be man in. But he was literally one of the greatest men that I've ever met. And eventually, through his love, he won me over, and I became his son. When he died, we watched a 6'3", 220-pound man. I'm talking about he was a manly man. I'm talking about he would go do anything with his hands. He was well respected in the community. He was regal, and he was a man of principle. If he said something, that was it. That was his word. That was his bond. And I watched this guy who was used to being solely independent lose his ability to drive, lose his ability to walk unassisted, lose his ability to be able to eat unassisted, and eventually to the point that he could not do anything for himself in a span of 5 months. However, each time this man lost an ability, he got sweeter as a person. Most times when people get sick, they get bitter, they get angry because they're losing their ability. People would come into his room and literally leave in tears, not because he was dying, but because he was so concerned about them, making sure that they were all right, they were overcome by his love, and that perplexed me to no end. And I didn't have the courage to ask him, what's your secret? You are facing death. You're staring death in the eyes, and you are at peace. And I couldn't understand it. And when he took his last breath, it was like he went to sleep. It was like the man was sleeping. And for about a month, I couldn't sleep because I knew, when he was dying, I knew he knew something, but I didn't have the courage to ask him, what is it that you know about death that I don't know? So after a month after he had died, I woke up in the middle of the night, and it came to me just as clear as I'm sitting here. He died with absolutely no regrets. That's why he was at peace. And when I really caught a hold to that, I said, we all got to die. But I can control how I die. And if I do it with no regrets, I want to die just like that. I want to die with no regrets. I don't want to die saying, hey, I should have done this. And it revolutionized my life. And 1 year and 1 day after he died, we had our first principal day of filming for Soul Damage. I can fail. I can accept that. I can accept failure. We all going to fail. But what I cannot accept is that I am dying, and it could be a slow death, and I'm on a deathbed regretting every single thing that I could have done and I did. His death changed my life.
Well, I'll tell you, when you talking about that, and you and I had not had that conversation before, Maximus, I thought about that scene, again, in My Name is Lola, with Willie and Cyrus, where Cyrus is asking Willie about how do you become a man. And Willie kind of outlines for him about trusting your instincts, and Sirius, questions him about that. But also how one of the things that Willie said, again, I made a note of, it will always be a good decision when two of these three are at peace. I think, for a lot of people, as you said, that is what life is all about, being able to live without regrets. And I think that's definitely one of the things that comes up in your work. And again, I asked you this last time you were on, and I'll bring it up again this time because I think it's appropriate since you're adding another slash to your name now as officially a playwright with Soul Damage. How does that feel to be an example of not only what a man can do, but also what a dreamer can do?
And every time you ask this question, I get lost. I'm at a loss of words each time because it's still hard for me to accept that I'm an example. To me, day in and day out, I'm just grinding. I'm just pursuing this thing with everything I got in my heart, and sometimes it's overwhelming when people will come. I'm getting inboxes now, or people meet me on the street and just say, look, I just want to let you know how this work is touching me, and I take it as fuel for my heart, but I think I push it out of my brain, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure why I push it out of my head. I don't know if that I don't feel that I deserve it. I think that's it. I think I don't feel that I deserve that admiration. But I do file it in my heart because it's fuel. It's fuel to keep pushing. It's fuel to keep moving. So I think it's the best way to describe how it feels. It's extremely humbling. It is extremely humbling to me because I don't see myself great like that or see myself as contributing so much. So it really brings me into the perspective that this is not just me. This is something bigger than me. And I think that kind of keeps me in a good perspective to realize it's something much bigger than me. So it's not me. I'm just blessed to be a part of this process.
Yeah. Well, and it's a process now that other people are able to bring in. Of course, with the film still to come, the book's now available, as I mentioned, Soul Damage, as well as My Name is Lola. And for those who are in Mississippi or will be traveling for Saturday, March the 24th, you all can be a part of the special event that's taking place in Yazoo City, Mississippi, that being Soul Damage, the stage play. So, Maximus, let our audience know, how can they find out more information about the event taking place on Saturday, March 24th? Tell them the details and how they can stay connected with you, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, the stage play will be in Yazoo City March 24th. Starts at 3 p.m. But I don't know if you know this or not, but we actually have a live streaming of the play. That will be from a Facebook Live page. So if they find us on social media or go to our website, www.phoenixrisingentertainment.com with the 3 as opposed to the E in the Phoenix. Or find me on social media. We're actually going to stream it live, and they can have opportunity to watch it in the comfort of their home, from their laptop or mobile phone. So,
wow.
But so we're opening opportunities. I had a lot of people reach out and say, hey, I can't make it to Mississippi. I'm in Alaska. How can I watch it? So we said, well, we have to figure something out. So now we're offering an online streaming on Facebook, and it's simply live stream of the Soul Damage stage play.
Gotcha.
On Facebook.
A great way to be able to use technology. We'll be linking the website with this show, Maximus, to make it easier for people to be able to find you. We'll be tagging you, of course, on social media as well. Really excited about seeing the play again Saturday, March 24th. Excited about seeing the cast bring these characters to life. Excited about the next chapter. It's so easy for us to say what we're not going to do, what we're not. But who knows, right? Who knows what plans lay ahead for radio?
What I'm not going to do. I've learned not to say it, so I need to watch what you say, because if you say it, it looks like it's happening.
Well, look, I will try not to add anything else to your plate right now, since I know you have a lot going on. But we do have filmmaker, playwright, and author Maximus Wright on with us today. Make sure you all are staying connected with him, as he said, PhoenixRisingEntertainment.com, and again, use the number 3 instead of the E in Phoenix. And again, we'll be linking that for you guys joining us on the radio side, as well as those tuning in online. If you cannot make it to Yazoo City, Mississippi, as I will be there for Saturday, March 24th, as you heard Maximus say, and I think I do remember seeing a post about that on Facebook. There will be a live streaming, so you guys can contact them to be able to get the information about that. Maximus, man, congratulations to you and the cast again, and looking forward to seeing you on the 24th.
Hey, man, look, I appreciate you, and thank you.
Okay, more than welcome. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music, as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You will make it a great one.